Now we're live. We're all good now. So basically, this is Jonathan Masler. We work together at the Seattle Drum School. And we've been doing some work with the website today. Yeah. Oh, here we are. Hey. And I've got the camera out front, sort of panned back. Let me see. Let me go find the front. There's the front camera. Hang on. Leave that right there. I'm sure it's not feeding back. And pull this in over here like that. This is how that works. And pull it down. Right there. Good. Okay. So, anyways, we were just talking about. Let me get this right here. Because I have a mic now.
Yes.
And is my foot cam on? Is the foot cam on? Let's see, foot cam, foot. That's gonna be that's number 2, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yep. All right, so there's that, and then let's see, front cams ago, that cams ago, left cams go. Oh yeah, man, dude, we got all of our camera shots. Yes. So we were just talking about some things, and Jonathan asked me a question about. Well, what was the question?
About practicing. If there was a time where you developed a certain practice regimen that kind of worked well for you in terms of, working on certain elements and repeating. If there's kind of a daily ritual to that, or if you kind of mix it up and just do different things depending on where you're at on a given day.
It's a good question. Yeah, daily rituals is where it's at. I, at one point, would start out my day by practicing the rudiments, the 40 PAS rudiments you can download. And, I would go through them because it's not that many if you break it down. It's like, 5 different groups and 8 rudiments or something like that. So it's, you've got the single strokes, you've got the multiple bounce rudiments, you've got the paradiddle rudiments, the flams, and the drags. Those are the 5 basic food groups. Yeah. And that's pretty much what you... I would just go through it, and I would start with one group and got really quick about going through, like, say, I'd do them over 16th notes, and then I'd do them over triplets, and then I'd move on to the next group. I'd do that in the morning when I woke up. Then I'd go do it on lunch hour when I was just taking a break from my job, and then I would sit there at the house and work on them until... from like 6 to 10 o'clock at night or whatever. And I mean, I just practiced them constantly. So I was always drilling rudiments. And I think that to be an effective player, if you are playing, if you do it 15 minutes a day, every day, that's going to be more effective than doing it an hour every 3rd day or 4th day. So, it's just because that 15 minutes eventually turns into more. It'll turn into an hour a day, and you've already got that time. So it's like, why not just practice a little longer? And there, there it is. So you've developed that routine, and
kind of having that one chunk of time that you're with every day.
Yeah.
Even if it's 15 minutes.
Yeah, body loves habits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how many bad habits have you had to break in your life?
It's what's the saying? Only play when you have to eat on days you have to eat.
Yeah, only play on the days when you have to eat. Yeah. Oh, totally, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that's very important. And
cool.
So, as far as positioning goes, we were talking about that as well.
Right.
Like he's just sitting down at my kit for the first time, pretty much, and it probably feels really foreign to him because I'm a pretty tall guy, 6'4", and so I raise up a little bit higher, and so what the hell is that? Oh, it's a piece of something, some kind of packaging or something.
Oh yeah.
I had to cut something open, a cable or something.
Sure.
Where all my money has gone, cabling and cameras and audio stuff, and it's software plugins. Oh, that was a big one, but. It was like, shut up and take my $100, man. Yeah. God, just take my freaking money already. God. Anyway, so that being said, yeah, ergonomics are really important. So, like Jonathan, grab the stick and then so turn off kind of to the side over there and sort of play where air drum. Yeah, you see where you're. Lower. Well, you see where you're coming up to. You're the bottom of your stroke. Go ahead and keep doing it. Let me see if I can get down on this right here. Left. Where? You see right here. Here's the bottom of his stroke. So your snare drum should be up, when you're raising up, but the snare drum should be just about a ½ inch to an inch above the very bottom of the stroke. Okay. So when you're right there, that's where you should raise your snare drum to, So if you play any lower, you're going to go through the bottom of your stroke. It's like playing through the stroke of when you swing a bat.
Down too far.
Yeah. Here, let me raise that up a little bit like that and put back to the front camera. Yeah, so like if you're swinging a ball bat or something, you want to connect with that ball at a certain point. If you connect when too far extended, it's not going to be as effective hit.
Yeah, it's going to affect the hit differently.
There's a point of leverage.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's part of the science behind drumming, and that's why all my stuff is really set up low because I've kind of figured out in my own motion patterns, the way things flow, and I know where like my strike zones are and what's comfortable for me.
Yeah.
And that's part of the ergonomic of playing drums.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you're just set up properly to start.
Yeah, you could if you ever get into a situation like this where you're behind a kit that it's like, the Jolly Green Giant plays it, you can always raise the seat and that will bring your upper body up in a position to where you can address it a little better and it'll be a little more forgiving.
Do you think about your feet at all, or is it mostly about kind of where your hands hit?
Well, when you're playing with your feet.
The angle of this angle, I guess.
Yeah, that can be a factor, but really for me what it is that I use the weight of my leg to actuate the pedal. So when let me see if I can, of course I can. Here's my foot right here. Well, put your foot on the bass drum pedal and play it like you normally play it. You see, you're kind of pushing in forward a little bit. Yeah. Pull your foot back a little bit toward the hinge. Pull it back. Yeah. Okay. Now raise your heel up, and now kind of like use the weight of drop your heel. You see how that feels? Where you're it's like you're stomping with your heel. Now your foot just became a compound lever. The weight of your leg is coming down on it. You use your heel as sort of a ballast, and there's a rotational point in the middle of your foot, and that kind of lends itself. That's using your ankle, but you're not going to use your ankle like this. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is like this right here. See, I'm standing. I'm gonna kneel down a little bit here. You can see how I'm kneeling like that, and now I'm just kind of doing this. I'm dropping my heel. Try that motion, right? Just drop your heel and let the rocking action pull back a little farther to the hinge. Keep going back. Pull your foot backwards. Yeah, now. Right there. So like it's almost to the, you see that? Yeah. You drop your heel. Use your heel and drop it. You feel how that is? That whippy action?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
So
it feels foreign right now
of course, yeah, but push your foot up a little more now. Yeah. Find something that's happy. You see all that whippiness right there?
Right.
Yeah, now just give it a good whack.
It's like very bouncy.
It is.
I can kind of control the bounce a little bit more.
The worst thing about that is that you see, one of the thing about my pedal is take your foot off you see how it flies back a little far, like to the 90 degrees? Right. Put your foot back on the pedal where you had it. You see how it kind of goes up to 45, 60 degrees right there? So it's, so you're in the middle of a teeter-totter of energy.
Yeah.
So you've got energy on the back side to give you some more throw for the front.
It'll kind of carry back and forth.
Exactly. And so you become like, you teeter-totter on the balance point, and you kind of, let your ankle and all that sort of work its way in.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of area to explore there. God, I remember when I started doing it, I thought that putting a dot on the bottom of my foot and on the pedal was going to find the sweet spot. because the sweet spot is where you have to find that, and then eventually the whole thing becomes a sweet spot because you rely less on like on it, and it's a very much a mental thing because you have to like get your head around how to manipulate that.
Right.
It's it's the tiny game. It's definitely a tiny game.
Sure.
It's like golf.
Yeah. I mean, so it's less of an ankle and more of kind of a like the middle of your foot being the fulcrum.
Well, right here, you just it's like kind of
Your foot there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, like that. You feel that? That's what you're going for. And so there's in between the front and the back of the pedal, there's a place on there that you're really gonna get the most use out of, and it's up to you to find it. And I can say that it's probably closer to the hinge than it is to the front.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because when you go to the front, you go all the way to the front, you're just gonna be like hurting yourself. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, man. So you got to bounce out of here in a few minutes, huh?
Pretty much, yeah. But this has been really great.
Cool, man.
A few tips, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we work at the Seattle Drum School, so that's our Seattle Drum School. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
SeattleDrumSchool.com.
Yeah, check it out.
That's our.
That's our baby right now.
Yeah. Yeah. He and I. There's 2 locations in Seattle. There's one in Lake City and there's one in Georgetown, and we do stuff at Georgetown. There's a really cool concert venue there too, and the Slab. Max Holmberg has the Secret Jazz Club, Secret Jazz Society, or whatever for Seattle. You can book tickets on Airbnb.com. Just look up Secret Jazz Seattle, and that'll get you there.
Come find us at the Slab and tune in more from Seattle Drum School as well.
Yeah. And the Seattle Drum School, we're gonna start doing these kind of live casts from there as well because I figured out how to do all this stuff. And
we're on the right track.
and now I'm gonna teach him how to do it, and then we're gonna like start cranking it. But there's some tricks to doing it, man. It's interesting. I've learned the first thing is I'm gonna probably end up getting a dedicated computer for this machine here, or for this rig, because pulling my laptop out here is just a pain in the butt, and having to wire up, and then I literally have to power down the USB hubs. I have to power everything down and start from a complete restart scratch.
Yeah, you might need to get something separate just for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just kind of a drag, but that's the way it is. It's just all those old drivers, the cameras, they have to match up with the drivers, and it's
a work in progress.
It's a work in progress, but it is working.
Yeah.
Okay, so give me 5 minutes. I'm going to bounce out here with Jonathan, see him off, and I'm going to come back in, and we're going to play drums. I think I'm going to head over to the Facebook end of things because I don't really see anybody here in this little area. There's nobody here, and it's kind of a drag. So I can go over to Facebook and get a bigger, better sort of thing. So I'm going to head over there. So come over to my Facebook page.